All right. Genesis chapter 39. Yoseph was brought down to Mitzrayim, to Egypt. Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, the captain of the guard, an Egyptian, a Mitzrayite, I'm going to say that right, bought him from the hand of the Ishmaelites that had brought him down there. So Yoseph is now in the hand of Potiphar. Yahuwah was with Yoseph, and he was a prosperous man. He was in the house of his master, the Mitzrayite, the Egyptian. His master saw that Yahuwah was with him, and that Yahuwah made all that he did prosper in his hand. Yoseph found favor in his sight. He ministered to him, and Potiphar made him oversee over his house, and all that he had he put into his hand. Favor in a foreign land. Favor in Babylon, if you want to say, same difference, like Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar, stuff like that. Verse 5. From the time that he made him overseer in his house. What is that? What's that noise? Here we go. From that time that he made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, Yahuwah blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. Yahuwah's blessing was on all that he had in the house and in the field. He left all that he had in Joseph's hand. He didn't concern himself with anything except for the food which he ate. Yoseph was well built and handsome. After these things, his master's wife set her eyes on Yoseph, and she said, "Lie with me." But he refused and said to his master's wife, "Behold, my sister doesn't know what is with me in the house, and he has put all that he has into my hand. No one is greater in this house than I am, and he has not kept back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" Verse 10. As she spoke to Yoseph day by day, he didn't listen to her, to lie by her, or to be with her. About this time, he went into the house to do his work, and there were none of the men of the house inside. She caught him by his garment, saying, "Lie with me." He left his garment in her hand and ran outside. Classic story of the power of self-control and being able to resist sexual immorality, fornication. This is, I always prayed when I was young that Yahuwah would give me a heart like Yoseph. I wasn't perfectly like that, okay? But I'm glad I was a virgin and got to marry my wife a virgin. My eyes weren't perfect, okay? My mind was corrupt. My eyes were corrupt. But I definitely refrained myself from physically giving myself to another woman. But this is a classic story. It's always been inspirational to me as a young man. And I think it's a beautiful picture. I love everything about it. I love drawings that are drawn about it, seeing Joseph running and the woman's like holding on to his garment, It's just powerful to see that. That to me is like, it's very strong. I like to believe that, I was always taught, I believe this, that responsibility is on men when it comes to relationships, marriage, things like that. So even in fornication, I believe that more responsibility is on a man because a woman is a weaker vessel. And I think that the hammer should fall heavier on a man if they are to sin and commit sexual immorality and fornicate. So to see a man, right? Because when we read scripture, what we usually see, I'm not saying this is always the case, so don't get me wrong on what I'm about to say, But usually it's a man being enticed by a woman or a man seeing the beauty of a woman. And that's what attracts the man, because most men, we're visual, and, while women are more sometimes emotional. Again, it varies. Everybody's different. There's some women who are very visual, okay, also, and they recognize beauty as well, okay? Women also recognize beauty. But to see a man resist a Jezebel or, sexual immorality, a prostitute, right? Joseph is doing what his brother Yehuda did not do. And Reuben, okay? This guy is definitely a good representation. So far, his reputation has been good since we've been reading about him.
And this would have been adultery, not even just
fornication. Yeah, and this would have been adultery. Yes, my wife was saying. That's good.
It also brings out false rape accusations.
Ezzy.
I was gonna say, maybe I missed it, but was the master not around for Joseph to tell what happened?
Yes, correct. He was not around.
So would it have been wrong for Joseph, because Joseph doesn't say anything? So would it have been wrong for Joseph to tell someone else what had happened, since there weren't any witnesses to attest? I'm just wondering why he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything.
I mean, think about it. You're the minority here. I mean, you are growing in stature, but the king is your boss, and he's elevating you in ranking, and you want to go to him and say, yo, your wife put the moves on me, and there's no witnesses. I think that's pretty tough. It's the truth, but with not having witnesses, that can go really south. How dare you speak about my wife this way? What is wrong with you? So perhaps that had to do a little bit with it. Maybe a little fear, a little Milo.
And we haven't gotten to yet, but we're also going to see the wife's personality, right? Because this is going to bring out this unfortunate, we still see it today, where women cry false rape.
Mm-hmm.
And most will believe them because she's a woman. You can cry your crocodile tears. Women can be very conniving. I mean, men can too, but it brings out the horrible reality of the wickedness of people. Yeah. And so, I mean, I would imagine that if I told my husband, you will forbid that even happened, but said something like that, he would be on my side, right? Like I would deny in every aspect, and he would be on my side to, so I can cover up my tracks. So
yeah, without any witnesses, I'm not believing somebody else over my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I'm not believing anybody else. You got a camera? We got camera nowadays and all types of stuff. Where is it at? You don't got it? Get out of my face. So Jeff?
Yeah, I noticed that with Judah and with Potiphar's wife, and as well as David and Bathsheba, the beginning of the problem started with the eyes.
Yeah.
And looking. It always starts with looking.
Yeah.
And I relate that to the Gospels about removing your eye before it causes you to sin.
Yeah.
But in each of these instances, it starts with them not taking their thoughts captive and looking.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This is an important topic, man. For men, first and foremost, primarily, we live in a country where pornography is a real big problem. I remember hearing as a Christian, there were Christian statistics. Okay, I think it was called Bill Britt's statistics, that they would say things like whenever there were Christian conferences, that the pornography rate in motels would increase dramatically. When there were conferences and big events where the Christians were packing out the hotels and motels and stuff like that. Crazy, right? And so making a covenant with the eyes, that's why we need, accountability. I give advice on this subject because I'm I relate with this subject. This has been my thorn, my sin that I dealt with in my life. And, you know, I educate people on, we live in an age where Joseph didn't live. There was no technology back then. You didn't get to watch stuff by the push of a button. But you either get rid of that technology or you download stuff that can protect you from that kind of stuff. And there are things that exist. I mean, you can even go to your cable company and probably pay an additional price to have everything like not being able to be accessed that's inappropriate. Totally shut down lock up your internet. That's possible nowadays. And we got to go to extremes. If we're looking for extreme results, we got to do extreme actions to protect our eyes and protect our hearts. Because this is bad. I'm always reminded of 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. It was one of my favorite passages, you know, growing up. Do not love the world or anything in the world. For the love of the world is passing away. The lust of the eyes, the pride of life, and I'm a little rusty on it. Lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, and the pride of life are not of the Father, but of this world. He who loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him, but he who does the will of God abides forever. You know, that's a really important passage. We can go through Genesis, the garden. It started with the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, right? And it tastes good. What's on that tree is going to make me like God, and it's going to, you know, give me wisdom, and, you know, it's enticing to the eyes. So, yeah, this is really important, man. I love this story, man. I love Joseph. I love this particular story. It always hits a heartstring for me. So, but like I was saying, I was going on a rant about there is stuff out there to lock up your phones, your internet, put a safety thing on so you can't access inappropriate stuff. If you really, really want deliverance, if you're really struggling in this area, there's ways. There's ways to protect yourself, but you're not going to be able to do it on your own. Definitely not. You can't do it alone. No accountability. I've tried it all the time. How many addicts have tried on their own strength to try to, you know, stop doing what they're doing? I'm going to stop this time. Really, really stop this time. You know, you got all the greatest intentions in the world, you know, and your heart probably really does break over your sin. But you got to kick it up a notch. You got to bring somebody else in and put the guards on and put the protections on to help you with this stuff. Now, fornicating and going and sleeping with somebody, there's no guard for that. You have to simply have some self-control, be able to resist. Ain't nothing. There's no electric ball that you can walk around to protect you from sexual immorality. Okay, that's a whole nother story. I used to hear about. When I was growing up, I'm the type of guy that, like, if I was gonna fornicate, it would have to be hidden. Nobody's around, you know what I'm saying? But I've been around some friends growing up, even some guys, Christian guys growing up, who ain't afraid to do it wherever, in a park, in a car. I'm like, yo, you guys are crazy, man, you know? And there's some folk that just don't care. There's no protection for that. There's actually no guard. There's no way. But at least if you got some kind of shame, you know, yeah, at least try to run a little bit, you know. But don't get me in the corner. That's why I got to get away. Before you get me in a corner, I got to get away, because I know if you get me in a corner, you know, get away as early as you can.
But this also brings up, as you were saying, when she asked, you know, was there nobody else in the house, right?
Yeah.
And so this is part of what we talk about, where you shouldn't be alone with the opposite sex. It just, because it lends itself to the possibility or accusations of the possibility.
But we were just going to do a Bible study.
You see, and I, for me, I say no. I say even if it had,
yeah, you're going to be studying the Bible, and then you're going to be studying something else.
So I just think it's a form of protection, and if nothing's going to come of it, then you should be okay with being in public with one another, or surrounded by witnesses and things like that. Now, obviously, Yosef had his duties to do, though, right? Like he's taken over this house, so he has to do what he has to do. But this is just one of those reasons why it's good not to even give an inch to Hasatan the possibility.
But we were in the same house. We were just in a different room. I mean, same difference, man. As far as I'm concerned and our standard for this, I don't think we really talked about this much, but that's a standard we have. We don't believe in opposite sex being alone with each other. We definitely believe in if you like somebody, that's cool. That's great. I'm all for that. Please go look for your wife. Go search it out, man. Go hunt it down. But like do it the right way. Protect yourself from fornicating, and get to know each other properly around other brothers and sisters, things like that.
That's just like with having support. If you're dealing with certain issues, you have. If you're me being a male, I should have a male support.
Yeah.
Not a female support. This is
right.
Like A.
Right. Oh, but she relates with me better though, D-Rail. I feel a connection,
You're gonna miss the mark.
Why is that wrong? Why is that wrong? We have a brother who was in this fellowship and wasn't stopped coming, right? Because he's connecting with a woman and he feels more comfortable. Fellowshipping with a woman versus an entire group of people, both male and females? What's that about? We know what that's about. We know what that's about. It's not rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, I'm moving on.
The flesh.
I hope that helps somebody out there. Look, there's K9. It's called K9 Web Protection. Look it up. Google search K9 Web Protection. It's free. I think it was created by a Christian, but it was intentionally made and free because people understand stuff like this you shouldn't be charging for stuff like this. There's a need to have a guard on the internet, and this stuff should be free. It's an epidemic. We shouldn't be charging for this stuff. So this website K9 made it for free. They take donations, and I appreciate them for that. And it's a very, very good system. You hook it up, and no matter what web browser you have on your internet, whether it's Chrome, whether it's Firefox, or whatever new things there are out there, it will block you from going to, and you can set it up however you want, and it will block you from pages. Pop-ups, ads, it will block that as well. Go ahead.
I suggest having your significant other set it up, or somebody else, not you, because you
can.
Yeah. Been there. Mm-hmm. I've been there. Oh yeah, let me put this on. Oh, it's great. Oh, let me take it off today. I'll put it back on after I'm done. Okay. Take it off again. Yeah.
You set yourself up for failure for that one, so have somebody else set it up for you.
Right. Doesn't work that way. Okay.
Accountability.
Yeah, accountability. And it sucks. It's uncomfortable. You're frustrated because at 3 o'clock, every day at 3 o'clock, you have your routine. This is what you do. And now you can't do it. So you're moody and you're cranky, but that's all good. We love that. We love that. That's part of your deliverance. That's part of your detox. Okay?
It's working.
Yeah. I want to see you frustrated. Yahuwah loves us, man. Yahuwah loves us. He's patient with us, man. And he endures with us. And he always makes a way of escape. Right? I like how one guy says I used to listen to a lot. There's no temptation that is common to man. Right? There's more to that verse. I need to get it. But just like a building, every building is created with an exit. So just like there's a way into a situation, there is always a way out. We just got to look for it, and we got to find it, and we got to go that way. Okay? Woo! All right. Verse 13. When she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and had run outside, she called to the men of her house and spoke to them, saying, "Behold, he has brought a Hebrew into us to mock us. He came into me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice." That was another another point is similar to what we brought up already, but another reason why not being with the opposite sex is just an open door for, I was always told, and I didn't always follow this, even me and Milo. Milo came to the church I was a part of when she was 14. I was 19. I was already a youth mentor. Okay, I was a mentor for the youth. And the rule was the guys get counseling from the guys and the girls get counseling from the girls. There were moments where Milo is either in an office or in the sanctuary where everybody else is somewhere else, and she's talking with me and asking me for advice, and I'm pulling out scripture and I'm teaching her things. And then we get the youth leaders, the youth pastors have a talk with me, pull me into a room. You did it again, D. This is not good, you know? And it's like, listen, you want to protect yourself, if anything. You want to protect yourself because we live in a world where women are heard. People believe what women say most of the time over what a man would say. And you don't want to put yourself in that position where you're somewhere alone with a woman and then she goes off and she says that you did something that you really didn't do. You know? So that's another reason why it's not good to be alone with another woman. What's up, man? I'm looking for brother D-Rail. Brother D-Rail home? No, he's not home. Okay, I'll come by later. Bye. And then, oh, come on in. Have a cup of coffee. Wait, he should be back in 15 minutes. No, I'm good. I'll wait in the car. No problem. But in Christianity, though, I ain't gonna lie. In Christianity, not all Christianity, like Pentecostal church, I don't know. Never mind. Everything's all mixed up now. But there's some churches that there's just like so much freedom, man. There's like, oh yeah, you know, here's the keys to my house. I mean, I remember being in Christian college and there was a Christian professor that gave one of the students keys to his house, and he had a girlfriend that he wasn't even married with. And he's like, yeah, I'm going on vacation. Here's keys to my house. You can use it. It's like, what is that about? Now you're giving him a place to go with his girlfriend. Like, you know what I mean? It's just weird. There's like this open arm. Oh, yeah, my house is your house. And, you know, it's got to raise the standard up. All right, anyway, I'm sorry. I'm going on this tangent. This is frustrating. So she said, behold, he has brought a Hebrew into us to mock us. He came into me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. Verse 15, when he heard that, I lifted up my voice and cried. He left his garment by me and ran outside. She laid up his garment by her. She laid up his garment by her until his master came home. She spoke to him according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant whom you have brought to us came into me to mock me. And as I lifted up my voice and cried, he left his garment by me and ran outside. Verse 19, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spoke to him, saying, this is what your servant did to me, his wrath was kindled.
Look how she also puts blame on him, like, this is your fault. Puts fuel to the fire.
Yeah, in the Hebrew, you brought this guy, you did this. You elevated his ranking. You did this to us.
Yep.
Tripping.
Reverse psychology.
Reverse psychology. Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, the place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in custody. But Yahuwah was with Yoseph and showed kindness to him and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. The keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners who were in the prison. Whatever they did there, he was responsible for it.
Just like he was like the tattletale for his dad, he's like the tattletale for the prisoner.
Yeah, man, he's good. He's good at telling the truth. He's good at it. He earned it. Hey, listen, man, you got this guy. Come at the third hour of the day. I want you to see what this guy is doing when you walk away. He knows that you walk away every third hour. I want you to come at the third hour and peek on the side, peek through the window and see what he's doing. All right, you got it. You were right. Joseph, you've been faithful. I'm giving you responsibility over all these guys. Yeah, man, that's true.
Yeah, that wouldn't work in modern day prison.
Actually, I mean,
There.
you're good behavior, right? When you have good behavior, don't you get moved up and get some more privileges or something like that?
Well, I mean, if you're telling on other prisoners, you're gonna be
Oh. Right. Snitches
That
get
don't work in this lifetime.
right.
Yeah. You don't get good, you know.
Right.
You got witness protection for that.
Jeff.
Yeah, even nowadays, you can become a trustee. You know, that means
That's
you can
different though.
No, I know, but you're still trusted, and you're still allowed out of your cell, and you have different hours. Like, you don't have to lock your door in some cases.
Yeah.
It's like a pod worker.
Yeah, that's not necessarily because you're snitching on people, but because you're doing the right things. You're probably just, you're showing up on time. You're
just in the
not
modern
fighting
day.
with nobody, right? You're not fighting. You got a job in jail, and you're doing it well. Things
Right.
like that.
So I'm just showing that even in our modern day prison system, there still is room for showing favorites or having some prisoner do these sorts of things.
Yep. Where are we?
Last verse.
Same as the first. No.
Yep, verse 23. The keeper of the prison didn't look after anything that was under his hand. Lazy. That dude's like, all right, man, I'm giving you the job. I'm about to be out.
Man, he really trusts him.
Man, he's like a bad old-time union worker. Hey, listen, man, I'm gonna give you this is what you gotta do. You're doing real good. I'm gonna just give you the prince, okay? I know you're an apprentice, but
Retirement.
I'm gonna give you the prince. Take care of all these areas. And I gotta go to a meeting. Yeah, all right. My man's in the car on his phone watching YouTube, drinking coffee.
Pretty much collecting his pension already.
Uh-huh. The keeper of the prison didn't look after anything that was under his hand because Yahuwah was with him, and that which he did, Yahuwah made it. I read this verse a little wrong. Okay, I'll take back what I just said. That's not what was going on here. He wasn't looking at what Yoseph was doing. Well, it kind of is the same. I mean, you're still responsible. You got to check on this, but he didn't because he trusted Yoseph. So, anyway, it was funny, though. It was a funny thought. Genesis chapter 39. Any questions or comments? All
Good
right.
to see that Joseph's the only normal or only obedient person in the family line so far.
So far, I mean,
Shovar.
we haven't. Well, I mean, yeah, no, that's true because all the brothers were in on selling Joseph except for Reuben, right?
Reuben, yeah.
Still was shiesty for putting him in, agreeing to put him in the well, and Reuben was part of one of the guys that didn't like Joseph. They all were hating on Joseph. So there's bitterness, there's grudges there, jealousy. But yeah, Joseph is like one of the only ones we got so far. He's not like his father Yaakov, where he's trying to lie and deceive to get his way. He's being genuine and sincere to who he is. He's got dreams and he just wants to share it.
And guess what?
You know?
Because of this, we always see that Yahuwah is with him.
Yep.
That tells us, a lot.
Yeah. Praise Yah. All right, that's Genesis 39, y'all. Hope you enjoyed these readings. Shalom.